Hi guys, it's Instructor Shane with What Makes a Good Holster 2.0. After posting my first video, I got some questions from students regarding holsters, and I just kind of want to address some of those questions. You know, I have students ask me all the time, hey, I got this brand or that brand. Personally, I use 951 Tactical, small company out of Menifee. I love supporting small business owners. So, when we get into brands and stuff like that, I always try and support the local guy. Typically, what you're going to find with a lot of holster manufacturing companies is they don't do all the little upgrades that cost $1 or $2 that's really going to set you up for success. So, any typical holster we buy typically comes with this plastic clip. It's great right out the door. After about 8 months of daily carrying, what you're going to find is this plastic piece tends to kind of stretch, bend, and then I'm on the range, I go to draw, and the holster comes out, of the pants with the gun. So they're good for about 8 months. What I've found, here we have Discreet Carry Concepts monoblock clips. They're about $6-7. They're metal. They work independently, so one could break off, the other one would still have that retention on it. For the couple bucks we're paying for the upgrade on the clips, it's worth its weight in gold. Now, when we talk about, and everyone always asks me, hey Shane, what's that on the back of your holster? So all it is I have industrial strength Velcro. I have a Dr. Scholl's heel pad that I just ended up Velcroing to the back of my holster. And the big reason for this, when we talk about concealed carrying and things like that, as I clear that outer garment, that's covering the gun, what I found was typically my undershirt that I'm wearing would kind of come untucked. It could possibly get the shirt in with my grip as I'm coming up to full presentation. So what I found is this Dr. Scholl heel pad Velcroed onto the back of my holster. Because it's rubbery, it actually keeps my undershirt tucked in. So when I draw, I no longer have to worry about actually getting the firearm out and worrying about that grip with my undershirt. Now, with some holsters, you get offered the options for a wedge. And it's a good idea if I'm carrying appendix, depending on my body type, to at least consider a wedge. So right here, this is a 951 tactical holster that actually has a wedge belt built into the Kydex. And you can kind of see here, your typical holster stops right there where the gun's gonna be. What the wedge does is create a little more oomph in the holster. So when it's in your body, it's gonna push that gun more into yourself. So there's less likely of printing or things like that, right? You can get a soft wedge, you can get a hard wedge. Personally, since I started running this 951 holster, I really like the wedge, and because I still have that undershirt on, all I did was take a new Dr. Scholl's heel pad and just Velcro it on that wedge, so that way I'm not worrying about that undershirt coming up and out. So, when we get into holsters and things like that, in my previous video, I talked about the claw. There's different size claws. And what I mean by that is the part that protrudes from the little wing here, they make different sizes. So depending on our body type, maybe I want a bigger one pushing, the hilt of that gun more into my body. Maybe I don't need a bigger wedge or claw, so I can leave it out a little bit. So that's something that's definitely adjustable on our holsters that we'll be able to adjust. Now, the stealth operator holster, I talked about it in my first video. If I'm just going to the range, I'm not really looking to buy holsters for my guns, and I just want kind of one can do all, that's a fine holster. But when we talk about being your own self-defender, being a CCW holder, get a holster that's absolutely specific for your gun. I can't say that enough. This is well and great and dandy on the range, But for concealed carry purposes, when we talk about that retention, reliability of that draw stroke, we want a holster that's specific to that gun. Now, there's so many holsters out there. Hey, depending on my carry position, get a holster that is specific for your carry position, okay? And what I mean by that is if I'm carrying at the appendix position, a claw is probably a good thing. A wedge, the Dr. Scholl's pad, right, is probably gonna set me up for more success from the appendix position. Now, if I'm running like a 3 o'clock holster, depending what I'm wearing that day, I probably don't need a claw because most 3 o'clock holsters are gonna have a clip on each side. The holster kind of curves around the side of the body to keep the hilt of that gun more tucked into your body so you're not printing. So when we really start looking at holsters, things like that, be a good consumer, do your research, use your own critical thinking skills. But at the end of the day, we're investing in, what could potentially be part of a tool set that could save my life. Anyways, guys, that's 2.0. Have a great day.